I'm Golok Kumar Simli. I'm the Principal Advisor and Chief Technology Officer from Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. No, absolutely. I think the emerging technologies, the new technologies, if you ask me, when it comes to development goal of the nation or as a circular economy, let me quote an example so the audience can connect. For an example, when we are enabling Aadhaar kind of a platform, where we have used a lot of new technologies, whether it is use of AI, cloud as a platform, big data concepts, all of these we have used in Aadhaar. And Aadhaar is one of the enablement for the citizen at large, and the kind of saving it can do in terms of leakage and other things it was happening, only for the DBT scheme, that direct benefit transfer schemes, we could save more than 1.5 lakh crore. Just imagine one scheme, the kind of adding to the economy. Let me quote another example. For an example, the passport service. Now, passport services alone, one service, one transformation, if we talk about within the government system, no, I'm adding into every year almost 2,500 crore rupees to the ministry, and that is the business model we have innovated. So each of these transformation, large transformation, where we are using a lot of these emerging technology, advanced technology, the one way the advantage is you give citizens, masses at large, whether it is in India or across the globe, that is the kind of impact, and that is the kind of inclusivity, growth, scalability you are looking for. And other side, as I said, definitely it is looking to the or adding to the development goal of the nation, digital economy at large, and at the end overall economy. If you ask me about the DPDP, recently enabled personal data protection law, it's not about the timeline. Let me tell you, it's about how judiciously, how holistically you implement DPDP. For an example, in DPDP, you have 5-6 actors. The first and prime actor is the principal owner of the data. If you see the GDPR also, more or less, they have focused on the principal owner of the data, you and me, right? It's my data, it's your data. So whenever I am collecting some data, whenever I am after collection of that data, whenever I am trying to harness that data for various purposes, various use, benefits, opportunities, product, portfolio. Now the first principle is, have I taken consent of you or me? Because you are the principal owner of the data. And while I am taking consent of you, I also must tell you what is the rights and duties of that data or the principal owner of the data, that you must understand, right? For an example, country like India, when we will be implementing DPDP law or DPDP Act, there are a section of society or citizens, they do not even understand what is this data all about, right? So how do you approach them? How do you take their consent? A illiterate person, right? A elderly citizen. How do you take their consent and you understand that whatever consent they have given, it's the truly they have given on their sense. It's not true, right? So we have a lot of challenges to convince to the principal owner of the data and to safeguard them in terms of their rights and duties. And once you give that consent, how do you apply that in terms of applicability, in terms of business case, in terms of use case, in terms of product and portfolio? We are using a lot of data, right, here and there. So how do you apply that? And when you apply that, I being the fiduciary of the data, who is actually collecting the data, whether it is a private organization or a government organization, how the fiduciary of the data handles the data in terms of primary use and in terms of secondary use, and whether the principal owner of the data is in picture or not. This is where the law will evolve around. And the problem of the DPDP, or I'll say the best part of the DPDP, earlier what was the problem it was happening and how DPDP will take overcome of that is, now being the fiduciary of the data, I need to prove that I have not done anything wrong. Before DPDP, what was the difference? Before DPDP, it was you as a principal owner of the data, you have to go to the court of law and you have to provide all the evidence that there is something wrong has been done with me. But that we have reversed 180 degree. Now we as a fiduciary, the collection of the data who is doing, he has to prove to the principal owner of the data saying that I have not done anything. So that's the difference of the DPDP. The last part of the DPDP, when we are discussing, since DPDP, it's a big chapter, and as you ask, how do you implement this, how do you bring it into a practice? I always say that when you bring it to practice, this kind of a law, you need to first start with understanding the data. What kind of data is it? Is it a personal data? Is it a fiduciary data? Is it a public data? Is it a configurable data? The problem we start with is we do not even understand what this data is all about. You just start collecting data, apply the data here and there, and then you start kind of a knowingly, unknowingly misusing that data. So under DPDP, I think we all have to be guarded. You as the owner of the data, I as a fiduciary of the data, somebody governing the law, they will always be, as a watchdog, they will be, seeing that who is doing what, where things are going wrong. So there will be a long journey to apply this DPDP, whether it is in government sector or industry sector.